Here are a few areas I examine when I review a business owner's policy. Policy dates, deductible amount, personal property amount. This should fluctuate when obtaining and discarding property. Dollar amounts for business liability, medical expenses, and property damage. Review all amounts on the declaration page. Maintain a good relationship with your agent and invite him or her to lunch to discuss any changes, questions, or concerns. Viewer question. Johanna is a college student who asked the following. If an employee is suspected for having relations at work, doing drugs, drinking, or have temperament issues, does that stay in their personnel file? Suspicions have no place in an employee's folder. If you do not have a direct eyewitness to the behavior or concrete evidence of the behavior, do not add it to the employee's folder. Unproven information placed in an employee's folder could come back to haunt your company later. If an employee is suspected of doing this type of nonsense at work, check your employment policies to determine which policies were violated. If a policy can't be found related to the suspected behavior, create one. Notify employees of the policy updates. If behavior issues like the one Johanna listed are suspected, check security footage, if any, to see if the behavior was recorded. Initiate drug and alcohol testing for all employees. Create a useful applicant screening process before hiring an employee, and never single out an employee based on suspicions. One type of record absolutely must be kept in a separate file apart from the regular personnel file. According to the Texas Workforce Commission, there's only one type of record absolutely must be kept in a separate file apart from the regular personnel file. That's medical information, including FMLA and workers' compensation records. That is because the Americans with Disabilities Act requires that any medical records pertaining to employees be kept in a separate confidential medical file. Still, it's a good idea to maintain other types of records in a separate file as well, including I-9 records, safety records, and grievance and investigation records. A reporter in Dallas, Texas claimed she was fired 3 days after calling the mayor of Dallas, Texas, bruh on X, formerly known as Twitter. It should be noted that the reporter and the mayor have never met. Whether you know the mayor or not, reporters may want to consider using professional job titles when speaking to or talking about politicians. That way there's no drama. What is a spot bonus? It's a low-cost morale booster. A spot bonus is literally paid on the spot to an employee for a specific behavior, action, or result. There are all kinds of spot bonus complimentary gift cards, which you can order for your business, or you can take your employee out to lunch, or pay cash. Don't award a spot bonus in private. Let the employee know that you appreciate whatever that employee did, and hand them the spot bonus so that others can see it. A current employee had some negative remarks about a job applicant. If I heard information from a current employee that I trusted about a job applicant, absolutely, I would listen to that employee. I would investigate the allegations made by the employee. Would I not hire a job applicant because of information I received from an employee? Well, here is why. How to build an HR department from the ground up. Here is just some of what needs to be done. Research the employment laws where your company resides. This includes federal and state laws as well as city ordinances. Understand thresholds and the number of employees needed to cross those thresholds. Create employment documents, employee handbook, new hire documents, termination documents, employee evaluation documents, job descriptions. Plan company-wide orientations to review new employee handbook. Here are some tips for writing an awesome job description. Keep the language clear and direct. Use simple instead of complex words. Keep sentence structure as simple as possible to maximize comprehension. Use descriptive action verbs like write, operate, perform. Don't use abbreviations or acronyms. Stay away from gender-specific language. Focus on essential activities. Refer to a job title instead of an employee's name. Don't include future duties. Speak of the job descriptions at the time of writing. Here are 7 types of involuntary work separations controlled by the employer. Layoffs. Temporary job comes to an end. Discharge or termination for misconduct. Resignation in lieu of discharge. Forced retirement. Mutual agreement. Unpaid suspension of 4 days or longer. Consider supporting the channel by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell. We have the applaud button for non-membership contributions, and memberships are available for as low as $3.99 a month. Here's the question. How would I handle an inconclusive HR investigation? If I conducted an HR investigation that did not end with a clear conclusion, all I can do is document what was said by both parties, let them know there is not enough information to clearly make a decision, and file the information in their employee folders. There's really nothing else to do. A fired employee keeps asking for a meeting. What do? I know what I would do. I would decline that meeting and start watching my back. Seriously, look at the news and you will understand why my answer will always be the same. What would you do? A CEO wants to fire employees who do not post company posts on their personal LinkedIn accounts. You heard me correctly. If this post is true, companies, it ain't that serious, okay? Don't threaten employees with termination because they don't agree with your LinkedIn post. The best thing you can do at the most is ask, not tell, someone if they could please look at the post. If they agree with it or like it, perhaps share it. But you cannot threaten someone's job. This business owner thought their business was too small to bother with contracts, signed agreements, and receipts. Now the business owner is faced with a non-paying client owing $550. This is why business owners should have some kind of document in place, even a simple document or a text message where the customer agrees to the service and the cost to perform those services. It would be easier to take them to a small claims court or seek other forms of remediation. I need to say this out loud. Verbal agreements have been gone since the 1900s, people. This employee was fed up with working with a toxic coworker and submitted their 1-month notice. The boss asked the coworker if they would please rescind the notice, and the boss would talk with the toxic employee. And the poster wanted some advice. Well, here's my advice. If you decide to submit a 2-week notice to a company and the company initially accepts your notice, and even if they didn't accept your notice, don't go back. It's kind of like going back to a bad relationship, and it may be good for a while, but until that company figures out what can they do without you and who can replace you, you're toast. Because the first time you do something wrong, you will be in the crosshairs. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. This is a prime example of how not to pick a business partner. All of this drama could have been avoided by asking questions before the partnership began and documenting what was agreed upon by all partners. Watch my video that talks about 25 questions to ask a potential business partner. Click the link below. Review your company's bookkeeping habits by following these steps. Verify your bookkeeping file is current. Review your financials, monthly P&L, balance sheet, accounts receivable, accounts payable, original bank statements. Ensure your company is using the correct accounting method. Make note of all bookkeeping practices being performed. Are expenses being approved in accordance with company policy? Create written processes should the bookkeeper go on vacation or quit. I was cruising on Reddit and I ran across this post. My biggest hurdle has always been managing employees. I despise it, and I am to the point now I have to hire again. What resources do you use to effectively manage a team? A resource to effectively manage a team is not going to help this person. My advice to this person is to change careers. It will not only help you, your company, it will also benefit the employees you manage. Here are 10 common leadership mistakes. Lacking humility, avoiding conflict, being too friendly, not providing enough feedback, micromanagement, not having faith in your abilities, being reactive instead of proactive, failing to define innovation, lacking vision, saying one thing and doing another. If the new employee has applied for a Social Security number but not received the card before you must file your W-2 reports, Enter all zeros in the Social Security number block if filing electronically or in magnetic media, and enter applied for in box D on paper forms W-2. When the Social Security number is received, file Form W-2C with the Social Security Administration showing the Social Security number assigned. Viewer question: do you have to take your boss's calls after hours? The short answer, no. With that being said, if an employee is required to accept phone calls after hours from management, I recommend business owners outline in writing what employees should expect with regard to after-hour phone calls, and everyone should adhere to the company's written policy. Can you create and enforce a no tattoo or body piercing policy? Yes. A no tattoo or body piercing policy may be enforceable under EEOC guidelines as long as they bear a reasonable relationship to legitimate business needs and are enforced fairly. If you want to know more about business operations, business management, human resources, and other topics related to running a business, click on one of those play links. Click on one of these Click on the playlist.
One eternity later.
Click on one of these playlists. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe.